Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. Say, did you know that zombies love doing stand-up comedy? They're either dying on stage or they're killing it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Card Z from MantiGames, or MantiGames. In Card Z, 1 to 2 players take on the roles of survivors during a zombie apocalypse. This is a card game that features all sorts of cards that are going to be very useful in creating this zombie world. Players are going to start with a couple of character cards, and these are kind of wild, zany tropes from various zombie fictions, and you're going to go ahead and look and see kind of what starting cards they begin with. They're also going to have certain advantages during the game. But you're going to find those cards that match them. These are going to be weapons or items or food, and you're going to place them in their backpack. These things are available to you. Now, some weapons, some guns, are going to have the amount of ammo you have, and you have little clips that you can track the amount of ammo you have on any given card, or if you have an ammo magazine that you get later, you can actually transfer by moving the ammo down on that one and then adding that to your weapon. The game doesn't have a board per se, rather it has cards laid out in a neighborhood. You're going to have various houses, and you're going to have the S-Mart grocery store. You're going to have different kinds of compounds, and critically there's an Alpha base and a Bravo base. And depending on what scenario you're playing, you're going to be interacting with those locations. Now, the first thing you're going to do is check for weather. You're going to go ahead and actually move a card that says whether it's dawn, day, night, etc. You're going to move that card around, and then at the beginning of every new day, you're going to draw a weather card, and the card will tell you what the weather will be like at any time during the day. This can affect certain other things happening in the game. Next, a player can scout an adjacent location. Essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the encounter on that location. It's going to have a number of dice, and it's going to may have a plus or minus modifier. But you grab that number of die, you go ahead, you roll them, and whatever number comes up is how many encounters you're going to draw for that location. And you are also then going to, as I say, apply that positive or negative modifier to that roll. Now, if you choose to go into that location, you're going to set up a battle board. Now, you put your pawn on the starting spaces in the battle board, but what you're going to do is you're going to draw a number of cards equal to what you rolled. Now, those cards will tell you that either the zombie is outside or it's in one of the two locations inside. Now, if they're inside, you just place the cards face down on the inside because you won't know them until you actually go in. But if they're outside, you're going to see what grid the zombie is in. It tells you, and then it's going to tell you what kind of a zombie. These can be ordinary zombies, they can be slow zombies, they can be fast zombies, they can be zombies that are carrying some loot with them. So you go ahead and you put those things on the board, and then of course you fight them. You can go ahead, you can shoot, you have melee weapons sometimes, and you're going ahead, you're generally rolling a 10-sided die to see if you are taking those guys down. And then of course they're going to have their turn, they're going to come toward you, and they're going to try to bite your characters. Now, alternatively, you can decide you don't want to go in that location because it's too scary, so you can retreat and move back to your starting location. Once you have succeeded in clearing a location, you're going to put a chip on it to indicate that that is clear. You can freely move through that location. Also, too, you may find the residential cards, and these are essentially loot. It'll tell you, once you succeed in clearing the location, how many loot cards you get. And again, these are other things like weapons, food, etc., etc. And that food's going to be important because you got to keep your people fed. You may also encounter feral dogs that may be a problem, and critically, too, you might also run into humans who have their own agenda and want to do you harm. Now, you're going through these motions in order to meet the specific objectives of the scenario you're playing. For instance, one scenario is simply move from the Alpha base to the Bravo base. Another one is you need to go to the Bravo base, find survivors that are there, and then bring them back to the Alpha base. You can also go to the pub in the middle of the board and essentially just fight off a horde of zombies that are coming at you. So there are several different scenarios you can play here, and as soon as you succeed in obtaining your objective, then you win Card Z. So Card Z is a zombie apocalypse game, and it gives you a lot of options. I just gave you the bare bones there, but you, of course, can hunt. You can go into some of these commercial areas and try to get loot there. There's a lot of different things you can do in this game. There's a lot of different options. In a sense, it's kind of a sandbox game, but you are trying to meet those objectives. But you can go all over, improve your characters. You can gain allies and other assets that will help you in your quest. But critically, you are trying to fight those zombies, fight the hordes, fight those feral dogs and those other humans if they come up, and succeed in obtaining your objectives. You've got mountains of cards and other components that are going to be used in this game. And what you're seeing here is not the final product. This is just the prototype for the purposes of this Kickstarter. So if this looks like something that you might be interested in, check out their Kickstarter, which will be coming this fall. I'll go ahead and post a link to this video so that you can check that out when it happens. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you to check out my other YouTube channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about military history and books and fun things like that. And I'd also, ladies and gentlemen, ask you to please give us a thumb on Board Game Geek. We appreciate that as well. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I was recently with a bunch of zombies, and I told them one of my best jokes. But all I got were moans and groans.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Thank you so much for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. Please, please, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, or Sean will come to your house and cause all sorts of problems with your dog.
You will.